This is not part 2 in all our passion and excitement about what's been revealed us or made us to recall. We forgot to show you those verses about Revelations. Okay, we're going to look at Revelations chapter 17. This is not part 2 yet. Part 2 is coming, about the Hezbollah, the Hamas, etc., and why they have done what they've done. Okay, so we're looking at Revelation chapter 17 from the original ancient Galilean-Aramaic, translated into the nearest English equivalent by native-born Aramaic speaker, translator, filmmaker from Mesopotamia, Syria, Victor Eden Alexander. And here it says in Revelation chapter 17 verse 1, just go through it briefly. And there came one of these 7 angels or messengers, the ones who have the 7 chalices, or chalices are like jugs or pots or whatever, usually had wine or water or something like that, and spoke with John, the revelator, through this vision, as he said, "Come, let me show you the judgment of that great prostitute who sits over great waters, with whom fornicated the kings of the earth, and from those whose wine of prostitution became drunk the dwellers of the earth." And so let's have a look at that particular footnote. Well, we're guessing it means punishment. Okay, footnote 17. One literal Aramaic idiom or expression, sentence or condemnation, that's going to come upon him. That great prostitute who sits over great waters, probably means in the Eastern mindset she rules over a lot of nations, with whom fornicated the kings of the earth, those other nations that are like powerful, got the authority to say this, to do that, right? They decide what goes on within their lands, and from whose wine of prostitution became drunk the dwellers of the earth. So from her soliciting to these kings of the earth, they become drunk. Okay, all these nations became drunk. They were all suckered by her because they partook of her her evils, her many evils, her deceits, her vices, etc. And the angel took John back to the wilderness spiritually. He took him back by the Spirit. 17:3 literal Aramaic idiom, by the Spirit. And he saw the woman as she sat on a red demon. A demon, literal Aramaic idiom, carnivorous creature or demonic beast, which a beast is representing a nation, that was full of blasphemous names, that has 7 heads and 10 horns. So it's a city, a great city with 7 kings and 10 crowns, or 10 horns. Okay. And that woman, with that harlot, was dressed in purple, okay, and scarlet. That's the colours of royalty. But scarlet is usually what a prostitute or a whore is recognised as dressed in. Right? Her outfit is tainted, her clothing is tainted, everything else is tainted, and adorned or clothed. Okay, so gilded, literal Aramaic idiom, gilded. Okay, which is covered, yeah, adorned. And he took me back to the wilderness spiritually, and I, John, saw the woman, or that prostitute, that harlot, as she sat on a red demon, carnivorous beast, anti-man, hater of man, inhumane creature, that was full of blasphemous names. Blasphemous means it talked a lot of nonsense, uttered a lot of nonsense, especially against the Most High God, the Christ, and all the hosts of the kingdom of heaven, that has 7 heads and 10 horns. Blasphemous names. Okay, that has 7 heads and 10 horns. So these kings with their 10 crowns had blasphemous names. They're probably saying, "Oh, we are gods. We are descended from gods. We are to be worshipped." All this stuff. Yeah, in place of the real one true God. And that woman was dressed in purple and scarlet, and between her eyes, or her frontal lobe, prefrontal lobe, or in her mindset, the disposition that is written. Okay, it's written on her forehead. Babylon the Great, mother of prostitution. She's the great harlot, greatest of all harlots or prostitutes, and earthly satisfactions. The great mother of solicitation, right? Selling herself. And I, John, saw the woman that was drunk with the blood of the saints and the witnesses of Yahshua, or Jesus the Christ. These are not Saint Benedict or Saint Joseph the patron saint or Chapel, all that sort of stuff. The Roman Catholic saints, you got to die first, then become you get called a saint, right? Because of the services he did for the Roman Catholic Church or whatever, right? And their name. Okay, this is the people that believed in the Christ, the disciples, the apostles, and those after, who were brutally murdered, martyred, thrown to the lions in the arena, used as human torchlight, all that sort of stuff. Okay, by this great mother of prostitution, and the witnesses of Joshua, these others that followed, right, up to this day. And John was amazed as he saw the great wonder. Okay, who was this? Wow, look at her. Who was she? Yeah, she has this power and all this sort of stuff. And the angel told John, "Are you amazed because of this? I will tell you about the disposition of the woman and the demon who bears her, the one who has the 7 heads and the 10 horns." So what it's saying is these 7 kings, well, these 10 crowns, okay, that's where they're getting their authority from. Okay, they are part of, or behind them is that demon, okay, that inhumane creature, that beast. The demon that you saw was going to be, and he was destined to rise out of the abyss, out of the pit, deep pit, and go to oblivion. He's going to perish forever, non-existence, right? Eternal non-existence. The dwellers of the earth will be amazed by that particular creature, those whose name is not written in the book of life from the foundation of the universe, as they see that demon who was going to be and he was not going to be, and as he fought. So all those who rejected Christ, he says, "Oh no, he's a myth. It's all baloney. He's not the son of God. He's a blasphemer. He's just a son of a carpenter. He's not the Messiah." All this sort of crap. Right? That's where they're going to end up. They're not in the book of life. Their name's not there. Or it's been crossed out. And so forth. They're not in the book of life. So they won't have eternal life. So this demon that John saw was going to be, and he was destined to rise out of the abyss or the deep pit, right? So this is talking about Satan probably, or Apollyon. It's probably Satan, right? Imprisoned there, and go to oblivion, or eternal punishment, or non-existence. The dwellers of the earth will be amazed, those whose name is not written in the book of life from the foundation of the universe, as they see that demon who was going to be and he was not going to be, and as he fought. So be all powerful, be all miraculous and all that sort of stuff. He's a counterfeit Christ, probably the Antichrist, whatever. They're going to be amazed by him. That's all that he can do. Yeah. This is where the mind that has wisdom manifests itself. If you have intelligence, spiritual intelligence, etc., intelligence from God, power of God through the Holy Spirit, etc., well, this should, understanding of it should reveal itself, right? It should be revealed to you. Okay. These 7 heads are 7 mountains over which that woman sits. So this is supposedly Rome, where these 7 kings are. There's 7 mountains which they sit, which this woman rules, right? She rules over them. And the demon who was going to be and was not going to be, and this one is the 8, or the 8th, but comes from the 7 and is a destroyer. Literal Aramaic idiom, oblivinator, or destroyer. And the 10 horns, with those 10 crowns, that you saw are 10 kings. Those people who have not yet been crowned. Human beings haven't yet been placed or set up, except authority as kings is given to them. Okay, so they've got the power to rule, to yield their power, their authority, for 1 hour with that demon, or for a period with that demon, right? that inhumane creature, that beast, carnivorous beast, etc. Okay, so where are we? They only have one desire in their power and authority they give to that demon, because that's where they're getting their power from, so they're pledging allegiance to it. Right, they're running with it. These will fight with the Lamb, that's the Son of God, and the Son of God shall be victorious over them, for he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings, and those with him are the called and the chosen and the faithful. The true believers, right? They put their faith, their trust, their hope in him. And the angel told him the waters, well, that's the nations, right, that you saw where that prostitute sits, where she rules over, right, these different nations, they are the nations and peoples and motherlands and tongues, all different kinds of nations, all different kinds of people speaking different languages. And the 10 horns that you saw in that demon, they hate that prostitute, and they will lay her to waste and leave her naked, and they will eat her flesh and set her aflame. Okay, that's Eastern mindset. It's the way they express themselves. So what they'll do, all her goods, everything like that, they'll consume, they'll take as their own and set her to flame. They'll destroy her, totally ruin her. For God, or Allah, has put it in their hearts to do his will only, and give their kingship to that demon unless these words of Allah are fulfilled. Until these words of Allah are fulfilled, or God are fulfilled. And the woman that you saw is that great city which rules the kings of the world. They all pay homage to her, they're all prostituting themselves to her because she has the merchandise, she has the power, etc., etc. They request something, right? This one gives it the blessings, them the blessings to do so, i.e. Adolf Hitler went before this particular harlot and her adherents, her top affiliates, and they said, yep, you've got permission to do what you need to do. You got our blessings. This is what we believe it is saying here. Okay, here's the footnotes here. So apparently, according to this Galilean-Aramaic manuscript's translation by Victor N. Alexander, the satellite states get set up, right? And these are the Soviet Union and its satellite states. And what it means is it has, satellite states means something that has similarities to this particular one, okay? In this case, the Soviet Union. So who has similar mindsets, similar ideas, expressions, idealism, etc., etc., however it's put, you want to put it. Who are these satellite states? Communists, China, Cuba, of course, Korea, right? Anyone that expresses or pushes communism, okay, they will be part of that. They will be part in partnership with her, right? Because they all got the same idealism, pushing communism, right? So they want to get rid of her, so then if they rule, then they can control everybody else. Okay? Communism will rise. If it rises and becomes all powerful, then they will dictate what they do, what communism has done through the centuries, the histories, right? Okay, so they've got to destroy her, they've got to take her out. Okay, so at that time, a world empire, when the time when this was actually translated and then printed and then published in this book format, the Galilean-Aramaic New Testament by Victor N. Alexander, was around 2015, as far as we know, what we found. So there was a world empire to be created. Okay, 1718, and the woman that you saw is that great city which rules the kings of the world. Okay, so literal Aramaic idiomatic figure of speech is kingship upon. So this is going back to that great city that they're trying to destroy. What is that great city? That one that has kingship or authority over the rest of the nations, the rest of the kings of the world, or the authorities, the rulers, kings, queens, politicians, the religious heads, etc., etc. They will suck up to her, right? And that's what it says here. Approximately present day at this point of the vision. Okay? Because he translated it in 2015, printed it, got it published, right? He's talking about that. But since then, the Soviet Union broke up and becomes the USSR, doesn't it? Isn't that right? Yeah. It goes from the Soviet Union to the USSR, which becomes a republic, right? Okay. But it probably still has that in its plans today. Okay. If South Korea can get North Korea apparently to unite with them, sort out all their problems, or their, give up all their hatred for each other and become one, then they could be this powerful force, right? They could be a problem. And then if they unite with Russia, and communism rises, that could be an even bigger problem, right? Because if, say, United Arab states, like let's say Iraq, let's say Iran, and all those Arabic states, where they're all Islamic and have those extremists and stuff like that, if they united with the communists, they'll be their force that will go ahead and destroy everything, right? Invade and destroy everything like they have done. They're trying to do with the Hamas and Hezbollah, right? That's like the pre-runner to it. Because supposedly, we came across a guy called Darius, named after the king from Persia, who couldn't stand Islam, Muslims, etc. He was saying that they're very bloodthirsty. This is coming from the Persian, not from us, right? They ruled his country, and young people were hating it because they were like forced to do this, forced to do that under that rule, right? The Islamic rule. And they wanted to be free to return back to their ancient religion, Zoroastrianism. Okay, but he stressed that why he disliked them is because they're very bloodthirsty. He's talking about the Shiites, okay, and the extremists. Yeah. It's in their blood. Okay, so that is supposedly what is supposed to happen through the Galilean-Aramaic manuscripts, hidden and preserved by the original Apostolic Church of the East for over 2,000 years, hidden from Emperor Constantine and the Roman Catholic Church, and their church was destroyed. It was later reformed. They ran through different countries and they got persecution by not only the Roman Catholic Church, but by Tamerlane, Genghis Khan and the Mongols, the Mohammedans, i.e. Islam, the Muslims, under different caliphates, and so forth and so forth, even the Kurds, up until this very day. But they have stuck to their religion, their texts, their rites, everything that was taught them by the original disciples, possibly Thomas, along with Addai and Peter and Bartholomew. They've always stuck to it, right? They've never changed it. They've never altered their scriptures, etc., etc. They've been doing the same thing throughout those 18 centuries of persecution, okay, and so forth. So, where were we? The saints, or those who were witnesses, those who were believers in the Christ, were murdered, martyred because of their belief in the Christ and the original teachings. As this whore, this prostitute, had a false religion and movement, she wanted to be the top dog, number one overall, having total dominion and control. The demon referred to, seen by John to arise, a demon footnote, anti-man, man-hater, carnivorous beast, nation. This represents this particular nation. And the people were amazed by this nation. Again, it's hinting to go back into history to discover that it was Rome from the time of the Caesars, Caesar Augustus, and then Nero, Vespasian, Domitian, Caligula, etc. followed. all declared through the Senate's decree or laws created by them, the Roman Senate, that the Caesars were to be deified as gods, and they were to act like gods, that they were descendants of God. And blasphemy, talk nonsense and say, yeah, we're descendants of God. Oh my God, I descend from Apollo, I'm greater than Apollo, all this sort of crap. Having images or likenesses, i.e. statues, and all citizens under Roman law, etc., should pay homage to or face severe punishment for not paying homage to that image of that particular Caesar at that particular time. That's what happened to a lot of the Christians. Okay, so if this really the video really opened your eyes, okay, subscribe to our channel, give us a like, add your comments below, and then go share this with all your friends and so forth. Okay, so again, a reminder, don't forget to look for part 2, where we talk about the Hamas and Hezbollah attacks on Israel, cities, militia, and ordinary everyday civilians, and the reasons why, who is the prison, the protectorate, etc., and Revelations explained in this Galilean-Aramaic Revelations. Okay. That's 17. Let's have a look at 18. Okay, and after these I saw another angel who came down. I, John, saw another angel who came down from heaven, who has great authority, and the earth glowed with his glory. And when he cried out in a powerful voice, he said, There she falls, Babylon the Great, the dwelling place of demons, and the haunt of every evil spirit, and of every flying and hated spirit, and of every filthy and hated demon. Sounds like Ghostbusters. For the wine of her firmament drank all the nations, and the kings of the earth fornicated with her, and the merchants of the earth from the strength of her inner thrills, or her beauty, her etc., became rich. And it continues. Okay, once it's destroyed by this particular nation, this carnivorous beast with God's power, they're doing His will. They're going to totally ruin her. She won't be seen no more. This angel, he takes a stone like that of a great mill and threw it into the sea, while saying, with such great force shall great Babylon be thrown, and never again will it be found. So basically it's saying that she'll be burnt beyond recognition. She won't ever exist again. She won't be able to trade, she won't be able to do anything. It's all gone. Okay. In her the blood of the prophets and saints will be found, and all those who were slaughtered on the earth. They'll probably find in their underground libraries or whatever all this information of what they did to these saints, these prophets, the disciples, etc. Yeah. So here in the footnotes it has 18.2 literal Aramaic idiomatic construction, and she becomes the dwelling place of demons. Ghostbusters. Literal Aramaic idiom, prison or protectorate. Okay, 18.2. And they cried out as they saw the smoke of her fire. There's a great fire there. She's burning, saying, What resembles that great city? Or literal Aramaic idiom, prison or protectorate. Okay, male and the female evil spirits mentioned separately. Okay, and there's 18.3 literal Aramaic idiom, lining or luxuries. That's in merchandise, etc. Right? Or whatever she's wearing. 18.4. Okay, get out of her. Don't be associated with her. Get the hell out of it, unless you share the judgment that's coming upon her. Okay, get the hell out of there. Grab what you can, fill yourself up, fill your bellies, whatever, and get the hell out of there. Right? I'm sure that's what it's saying. 18, what's it, 18.4? 18.4. Okay, they threw dust on their heads, and they shouted as they cried and wailed, saying, Woe, 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 the great city, mercy, mercy, or pity, pity, that great city, by whom enriched themselves and all those who had ships at sea from her preciousness. For 1 hour she lays in ruins. Possibly, we have ideas that possibly could be the end of Jerusalem. Gone. We're not too sure. We're still studying it. We think it's really Rome. Okay, totally gone. Okay, because later on in the scriptures, there is a stone that comes from heaven. You know, the image of that statue, the vision of Daniel. It had the head of the Persian king, the Medes, etc., etc., right down to the feet, mixture of clay and iron, right, or iron and clay. And then this great stone from heaven comes and hits it on the feet, on the toes, and it totally ruins them, destroys them, and they just turn to dust and blow into the wind, right? And then this new holy city that's come down from heaven, the New Jerusalem, is set up, and then God dwells with those. He rules over those, and they with him. They come to him, and to this new city, the holy city of Jerusalem, coming down from heaven, to be with God, right? So everything else, it's a new heaven and new earth. Everything else is destroyed. Everything's gone. Yeah. Maybe after these nations try to gather their armies together and try to take on the Lamb of God, and they get destroyed, all that sort of stuff, and then everything else gets wiped out in preparation for a new heaven and a new earth, and that holy city, right? It's a paradise on earth, basically. Look at those Jehovah Witness books. We're not saying look at them because we're Jehovah Witnesses, right? Far from it, right? We respect them, all that sort of stuff, because they have this great depth to them, right? That they want to know what it actually says. They know how to go deep, really deep. Right? We're influenced by them, but we're not affiliated with them. Okay, if you can understand that. Okay, yeah, when we were Christian churchgoers, you know, half pie sort of thing, we're influenced by them, and that's what made us want to be knowledgeable on the scriptures. You know, like Bruce Lee was with Jeet Kune Do and Kung Fu. We wanted to be the best in regards to these biblical scriptures, right? But we noticed that there was a lot of booyah, rubbish, garbage being put out there by the different churches, denominations, preachers, teachers, evangelists, etc. So we thought we'd look at them all, listen to them all, figure out through personal research, are they for real? Are there facts, actually established facts? The evidences, the proofs that they claim they have, actually, does the evidence prove itself evident? Are there writers, etc., infallible, irrefutable, etc., etc.? Can we look behind the scenes? Like, we're not journalists, but this is what journalists do, dirty journalists. They look behind the scenes at what those people, for their dirt. Okay, they find it on these people that, you know, behind the scenes. Okay, like, what's his name? Herbert W. Armstrong, supposedly accused of abusing his niece or his daughter or something like that. Toby, a singer, eyeing up a 15-year-old or something like that. This Indonesian, this lady's house in America or in Indonesia was there or something like that. These other ones that, like, behind the scenes, and they're speaking for years about anti-homosexual. The Bible disproves of it, all that stuff, and then they get caught out in a hotel wearing a frilly dress and getting loved by men, yeah, all this sort of stuff, or swindling their congregation and so forth. Okay, so we hope that this video really opens your eyes. We don't want to babble on too much anymore. Enough's enough, right? So again, we remind you to subscribe to our channel, give us a like, add your comments, and we'll get back to you on them as soon as we can. And you go share this with your family, friends, and others. Yes, we have to stop here because we have to be somewhere else at a certain time. So thank you for taking the time to watch this, our latest video created and uploaded. We hope that your eyes will be open to the truth according to what the original ancient scriptures actually say in the book of Revelation, and you'll receive many blessings of insights, knowledge, etc. from them.